All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast, brought to you each and every time by Oura. What a piece of equipment. I mean, it tells me so much. Obviously, really breaks down my sleep. I don't even obviously know it's there. It is just a ring, completely light, durable. All my sleep cycles, latency, core temp, heart rate variability, also activity and recovery. Here's the cool thing. It helps you know why you feel how you feel. Think about that, JB. How you feel, why you feel. I mean, we all have questions like, why do I feel like shit today? Mm-hmm. Well, this goes a long ways to helping you. As I said, all those key metrics in there. Also, really cool partnerships. Just announced USA Surfing NBA Finals started last night. Congrats to Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. Partnership with the NBA, WNBA, UFC, and the Move. Head on over to Oura Ring, O-U-R-A ring.com. Send you a sizing, there's a flow code. Send you a sizing kit and get going. Get to tracking.
I think you tried to sabotage my sleep yesterday.
What are you talking about?
You were being all nice. You offered a fan because I mentioned how hot my room was.
Mm-hmm.
This has got to be the loudest fan in the history of fans. I was up from like 11 to 3 a.m. going, what? Why can I not sleep? The damn fan is like a car engine in my car, in my room.
You're suggesting
Finally
he's
shut it off.
acting all sweet.
And I was like,
really...
he totally sabotaged my sleep on purpose.
You know what?
Loudest fan I've ever had in my entire life.
Look, there's two things I'll say to that. First of all, there's something to be said for white noise. I think it. By the way,
this wasn't white noise.
Beggars can't be choosers. You asked me for a fan because you're a diva. Your room is hot. I got you a fan. It's brand new, never been out of the box. Secondly, you should have learned a long time ago to wear earplugs. We have worn earplugs basically our whole lives.
I'm on call by like 4 a.m. I got my people in Europe texting me saying this is happening. You know, we're trying to figure out what's happening at the start of the race, so I can't wear earplugs.
Well, you know what? If any paging, we're looking for tennis partners for George. If anybody else has a
quiet fans,
a quiet fan, please. Or maybe the local air conditioning company can come over here and install a quick unit for George. Keep his rosé cool as well. This year, the Move is also partnering with Outside Plus. This is a cool concept. Now, that Robin and PJ, the whole team over there, are building a monster, right? So they bundled together more than 30 of the most respected and loved voices in the outdoor space. We're talking about Outside Magazine, Velo News, Peloton Magazine, Backpacker, Triathlete, Climbing, Yoga Journal, Ski, the entire Warren Miller catalog. It's all right there. But this subscription isn't just about great content. You also get, here we go, training programs and workouts for George, 2 magazine subscriptions, meal plans, premium video, free and discounted event access. They also have a bunch of really cool events. I did their gravel ride a couple of months ago. What an ass kicker that was. And so as a bonus for our listeners, 25% off right now for Outside Plus subscription members. Head on over to outsideonline.com/themove. So that's 25% off to get the Outside Plus membership package. And that discount code is MOVE25, MOVE25, outside.com/themove. Today I'll show, wow. And I was the first person up today. Did you know that? I texted George. I was so proud of myself. I got up before my alarm went off, and I knew he wasn't up. And I just texted him. I said, first. And I didn't hear from him for about half an hour.
It was like 5 minutes later, but anyway, you did beat me today.
Yeah. Today's show also brought to you by AMP, Human and Momentous. Now, I say both of them because these two companies are now one. Both companies we've been big fans of forever. Obviously, AMP Human with the PR lotion. Proven to work. Proven to buffer lactic acid. All the stuff when, if you go out and ride hard or run hard or whatever you're doing, the thing that's going to slow you down is lactic acid. The only thing proven to buffer that or to sort of hold it off is bicarbonate. And PR lotion, absorbed through the skin, proven to work. Used in the Peloton, used in the big leagues. I think in the last couple Super Bowls, both teams used it. And just absolutely, and we're talking about events, but for training, dude, even better. George uses it for his sloppy pull-ups as well. And then Momentous, a company that we've just been tracking for years and using their products religiously. They're now one. They get the boomstick. What a merger. So super proud of these guys. Head on over to amphuman.com/themove. There's the flow code. And 20% off for our listeners. Discount code TDF20 at checkout. That's amphuman.com/themove. 20% off for both Momentous and Amphuman products. We are talking about stage 11. Let's cue our friend Alain.
Stage 11. Sorgue to Malocène.
Wait, what was the first place?
Stage 11. Sorgue to Malocène.
Sorgue to Malocène. Now, what sort of gets, if you just listen to that, you don't really understand what I mean. 2 times up the Mont Ventoux, right? You have what I think is the most iconic climb in France. Normally we do it once. Normally we finish on top. 2 ascents up the Ventoux, and we saw a performance by Wout van Aert that I'm at a loss for words. I mean, it's one thing to go on the breakaway. A guy like this can go on the break and win, but he's in the break with legit riders, right? Keep in mind, he rode Bauke Mollema off the wheel. Bauke Mollema came into the Tour de France expecting to be top 5, top 10. He's been 6th in the Tour. He's been up there on a bunch of other Grand Tours. Just seeing the douches. This is a cyclocross rider.
Who was second in the sprint yesterday.
Who got second in the sprint, who was coming around cab in the sprint yesterday. I don't even know what to say. You can't say enough good things about this dude.
We can talk about his performance all day long. I mean, like you said, Johan said it was the title of the stage today. Him getting second yesterday and today winning the hardest mountain stage to date so far in this year's Tour de France. But what an incredible ride. Going from kilometer 0. Apparently, Alaphilippe attacked from kilometer 0. Like you said, Lance, it was some hitters up there, some of the best climbers in the world. Doing all the work. It's not like he sat on. He was working all day long. Not only that, but he didn't lose hardly any time up the last time up the Ventoux. He held steady around 4.5 minutes for most of the climb. Of course, the last few kilometers, we all know it's super exposed, super windy. I mean, for him to lose, I think he lost 1.5 minutes there. Fine. He didn't really have to go over the KOM with over 4 minutes. He just kind of rode in, and what an incredible accomplishment for him today. And you know what? He's just hit his mojo because he's getting second yesterday, winning the mountain jersey or winning the mountain stage today. We're going to see a lot more from him in this Tour de France.
Yeah, this guy's a beast. He can do it all, and he can time trial.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen him win prologues, time trials, almost won yesterday in the sprint. To go over the Ventoux, I mean, this is not, I remember in our day, Eros Poli won on the Ventoux, but I think he had 20, 30 minutes at the bottom. What a stud, this guy.
Yeah, he said in his post-race interview that it was perhaps his biggest win of his career, and he's won some big ones already.
Yeah.
Well, when his buddy Van der Poel gets a stage win, of course Wout van Aert has to get one because that's how those two go.
That's how they go.
That's how they go with each other. And this validates something Johan said a few days ago on the other show, was that if you could convince, and he did it in the conversation, he talked about Van der Poel and Van Aert in the same context. If you could convince them to focus on the Tour de France, they both could be Tour de France winners. I mean, that's a good look at it today, but they don't want to give up all the other stuff.
Right. Well, that's a risky bet, and they can do that. They have time to do that. Wout van Aert's 26 or 27 years old.
26, yeah.
But yeah, you watch that and the way he just looked. I mean, he looked effortless. So, but that is such speculation. I don't want to disagree with Johan on that, but especially after today. And these guys do it all.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt the guy can climb when he wants to, or when he's in good form and time trial with the best in the world. I mean, he'll be right up there in the Olympics for the time trial as well.
I remember you guys on a previous tour commenting when someone on their TT bike sat up to go across the finish line, which is dicey. But did you see what Wout van Aert did as he crossed the line today? He not only, sitting up, which everyone, he stood up. He stood up on the bike.
Yeah,
I don't think I could do that.
Well, no. I don't know if you can or cannot, but I would not suggest that you try.
Fist pumping.
Yeah.
Standing straight up.
What a boss. I mean, that's a boss move. And JB, you were like, you should try that today. I was like, fuck no, I'm not trying that. I mean,
like you mentioned, Lance, the UCI might come out with a press release after this saying that position is now banned moving forward.
Yeah, this is the new. That's right. Tonight there'll be a communique from the. They're no longer allowed to stand on the pedals crossing the line. I mean, that's. Don't try that at home, kids. That's. I think the other thing that stood out is like, what was Ineos thinking? I mean, when we woke up and started, and we were hours before the finish, they were already riding. And if you're Pogaćar and Team UAE, it must be just like, hey, thanks for the gift. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I spoke to my insiders yesterday, and they already had a plan where they wanted to go all in for the podium. They wanted to make it hard, put Ben O'Connor under pressure, put perhaps Uran under pressure, and Vingegaard. And, you know, they did end up putting Ben O'Connor under pressure. He had to change a bike at the bottom. We don't know yet if it was for a lighter bike or for a mechanical. But either way, that's probably not an ideal place to change a bicycle. And you saw what happened. He paid dearly for that effort.
I don't think it's worth it. No disrespect to Ben O'Connor, but that's not, that situation is going to sort itself out in the Pyrenees in the time trial. That's not a fair trade.
Doesn't that just throw your rhythm off at the base of the climb to do a bike change? I would think
he looked pretty chill about it. I mean, it was, and they remarked on TV, whether he was needed a bike change or they elected to take one, but.
Well, I always remember when the other guys, whenever our competitors would change bikes back in the day, and we were up in the front, we'd have Johan or Lance coming on the radio like, let's let up the wattage about 20 to 40 watts here, make them suffer just a little bit more to get back on.
Well, we would always do that with Once when they, they always had these goofy bikes. And Manolo Sainz, their director, he thought he was king propeller head, and he was gonna, and they would go back and change bikes, and Johan would be like, let's go, just stick these fuckers straight in the gutter.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was like, yes. Let me know how bad they're suffering. By the way, I just looked at Ben O'Connor's Strava, and we tried to guesstimate the vert yesterday. 15,184 feet.
Ugh.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's a big ouch.
You just, you can look at the big ones. You can say, okay, Ventoux is this, and another time is this. But there's this area, this part of France is never flat. So we're missing all of these 100 and 200 foot chunks that they're accumulating over the course of, 5 hours and 39 minutes for him. 15,184.
Well, think about, this is what makes Van Aert's performance even more mind-boggling. He was in the breakaway the whole day, pulling through, not sitting on. Imagine his wattage average after today's stage. Gets to the bottom of Ventoux, rides some of the best climbers in the world right off of his wheel, and essentially holds the pace all the way up the Ventoux and loses very, very little time to the yellow jersey group. Yeah.
Now, the one thing about Ineos, I want to go back there for a second, because I don't understand what they were doing. And it ended up, as we saw, as the race truly unfolded after Kwiatkowski pulled. There's two things. Kwiatkowski does his job. He pulls off, and he always does this. And I love it when you see, by the way, the guy's a former world champion. He's no pannekuchen, all right? He's not just a domestique, but he knows he has a job to do today.
Pannekuchen, singular.
Pannekuchen, sorry.
We keep getting that.
He is not a pannekuchen. I don't know how you say pannekuchen in Polish, but he's not that either. He pulls off, and he virtually comes to a stop. Like, that is, kids, I keep talking to the kids. Like, don't stand up on your bike. Don't do the super tuck. Look where you're going. You're going to go where you're looking. But that's how a true teammate rides. Like, his job's done. There's no reason. All you got to do, literally at that point, all he has to do is get to the finish line and make the time cut. Mm-hmm. He could stop, right? Nothing says you can't stop and have a cold Fanta or whatever those guys do. But he's such a pro. I respect the shit out of that.
I mean, what we're seeing now is very unlike what we're seeing in other tours, where the race right now is, they're basically like forgotten about Pogaćar. He's so good. Of course, anything can happen. We're only at stage 11. But there is a hardcore race going on for the podium. Mm-hmm. Between second and 7th, 8th spot, it's within a minute and change. Mm-hmm. So we're going to see a lot of changes going on there. And I know Ineos really wants to be on that podium, and they're pretty much the only ones that actually have the team to make a difference. And there was a lot of people, even on TV, questioning those tactics, but I knew that it was essentially racing for second place.
Yeah, but then he didn't have the chips to go. I mean, then Kwiatkowski pulls off, and the pace was cut in half. Carapaz just sitting there looking around.
And our boy Vingegaard, who should we do the correct?
We have, as most know, we don't know how to pronounce really even our names, but this, we don't know how to pronounce this kid's name. By the way, I don't even know his first name, but if I looked at it,
Jonas,
I got right, like the Jonas Brothers. Vingegaard. Like if I look at it, it's Vingegaard.
And for the first time,
but our good friend,
for the first time ever, it's not only us mispronouncing his name apparently, because we have the real pronunciation right here on the move today for you exclusively.
I mean, we're watching the TV and we're like, that's not how you say it. Like we can comment, but we're like, no, that's not it. But we now have it. We have the official pronunciation.
So this is from our good friend, the legend Brian Holm, was courteous enough to send us the real pronunciation.
Jonas Vingegaard.
Whoa.
Vingegaard.
Jonas Vingegaard is going motherfucking fast.
Okay, Brian, we
that in the swear
appreciate
jar,
that's
Brian.
20 in the swear jar.
It's 20.
But I can't even Vingegaard.
Should we play it again?
Yeah, he didn't even say the G in the middle. It's more like Vingegaard.
Jonas Vingegaard.
Vingegaard.
Wow.
Jonas Vingegaard is going motherfucking fast.
Actually, does it double when you put the mother in front of the F
I
word?
think so.
I think it doubles. I think that's leveling up on the swear jar. But anyways, yes, he was going fast. This kid, think about it. I mean, this team, he came to ride in support of Primož Roglič, and now he's, everybody's debating on how Pogaćar looked, if he couldn't follow or if he was being smart. I know within our team we have varying and differing opinions on did he get dropped or was he just regulating, knew he'd catch him on the downhill. But if there is a first crack, if you just looked at it on TV, if you start to look for cracks, well, we saw our first one.
Yeah, and you mentioned what feels like over a month ago now, the time trial. The man finished third place in the time trial.
Right.
So not only can he time trial well, he had a really bad crash in the mountain stage a couple of days ago, and then look today, it looks like he rode away from Pogaćar. And the fact that he got caught at the end is really insignificant. I feel like he's going to gain so much confidence from being able to ride away from those three guys that we're just going to see him continuing to attack. The team is obviously on a roll now with Van Aert winning the stage. So we're going to see a lot more from Jumbo and Jonas coming up.
You know what I thought was, as you watch the images on TV, because the Ventoux is just so special when you look at it. Like you see the Alps, and they all from the heli they all kind of look the same. Ventoux is just it's an anomaly.
Well, I mean, we not all of us took the heli off the Ventoux. In fact, I never did. Because you always did doesn't mean we all got the heli shot, except for the camera.
I know, but you didn't win 7. So, but I've always assumed that it was just this freak, geological occurrence that you just have this bald mountain in the middle of the country for whatever reason. I've always thought that. Well, as I was watching the images today, I was like, God, it looks so strange. So I went and started researching. It turns out the entire mountain used to be forested. Did you know that? I always assumed it was always bald. So it used to be, the entire thing used to have trees on it. Back in the ancient days, it says here, where is that? It was originally forested. Mont Ventoux was systematically stripped of trees from the 12th century onwards to serve the demands of shipbuilders of the naval port of Toulon.
It's funny you mentioned that, because as I was watching it today, I thought, well, why don't they get up there and plant some trees?
So they're trying, it says here that they're trying, one of these tree organizations is trying to plant trees. But
I assumed it was above the tree line where things cannot grow.
But it's not above, because it's only, the top's only 6,000 feet. So that's,
it's lower than we are
right now. We've heard all
now.
these myths that it's just such a freaky place that the tree line's lower, or that it just can't, or the wind. But it used to be completely forested, which I thought was fascinating.
Two things that stand out after that. One is that seems like a long-ass way to go for trees from the ocean. 2, the man really did get up early today because he's all Wikipediaing us right now. So I'm super impressed
dropping
with that
some
one.
wiki on you, man. I know who little baby is. The other thing is it's always windy, but as I continued to research this since I was first up today, they have seen winds of 200 miles an hour on top. Wow. And check this stat out. Over 240 days a year, that's 2/3 of the year, the wind is 56 miles an hour or more. Wow. So they were lucky today.
Yeah, we saw what happened in 2016 with Froome and Port running Richie Port running into the motorcycle. That was because of the winds. They had to finish the stage 10K earlier. And the pavement looks perfect.
and the speeds are fast. It doesn't quite have the switchback.
Yep. I talked about the 2 switchbacks yesterday. I saw them today. I mean, there's a right bender and a left bender, and you're done. The rest of it is just basically straight. Although there's soft curves, it's just there's no relief.
So just what kind of speeds were they hitting on some of those descents today?
Well, that pavement's new on the downhill there. They were going, I think Adam Blythe said at one point he clocked 110 kilometers an hour, so that's just under 70 miles an hour. No guardrail. It's like I don't. Yeah, George and I are going to go ride the pass after this, so we'll get some, see what our max speed is. But there's guardrails.
But and just for reference, what's the how many feet up? What's the top of the pass that you guys are riding today for Grant?
Twice as high as the Ventoux. So we're going to go up Independence Pass. It's 12,400.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're starting at 8,000, right? So, and I mean the town of Aspen where we're sitting right now is almost 2,000 higher than the Ventoux. But that's people see the high mountains and they oftentimes say, oh, the altitude. The reality is they start low. Like yes, they get into the altitude, but you're getting 5, 6, maybe 7,000 feet.
Then they're dipping right off the mountain.
Yeah. I always thought that was a problem, too, on the Ventoux. I didn't realize these people are building ships. I was like, I can't breathe up here. There's no trees. There's no oxygenation around me. Yeah.
Well, we've spent a lot of time in this tour already talking about the time cut. I don't remember in any previous editions of the move that during Tour de France we spent this much time talking about the time cut.
Because you have the green, you have arguably the biggest story of the tour that's flirting with the time cut. And it did, although he came back. They must have bombed that downhill because he made it by 4 or 5 minutes. But there were one guy missed. Luke Rowe missed the time cut.
Yeah,
a guy who should never miss a time cut. And one of my favorite rockers, the Sky Rocker, Soren Kragh Andersen,
was sprinting for the time
4
cut.
seconds.
So we were rooting for him to make that time cut. I mean, this tour is so hard, and these guys recover so differently. I mean, we saw the other day what happened with Greg Van Avermaet. He made it by 5 seconds on the time cut, and today's in the breakaway. So I'm glad Soren made it today, and he's going to keep fighting, and hopefully he can get another stage win this year.
I mean, it just goes to show, these stages accumulate. I mean, you're talking about Greg Van Avermaet, one of the best of all time, almost missing the time cut. Soren Kragh Andersen, one of the strongest guys that Luke Rowe.
Yeah, Luke Rowe.
Like it just. The man with a hammer can come for anybody, anytime.
Yeah, that's a big blow. I know Luke was feeling good. I hope he didn't crash today, or perhaps he was doing too much work in the beginning, but that's a bummer to see him out. I know the team will really miss him. Not only did we lose Luke Rowe, we lost 7 other riders. Tony Martin crashed super hard in the beginning. We lost another 6 riders, so 8 riders total out of the race today.
Damn. So I've been actually getting one up on George. I've sort of been kicking his ass on the bike and certainly in the pull-ups, but something was different yesterday. I don't know what happened.
2 words: nitric oxide.
What? Nitric oxide? Is that
Correct.
The stuff you put in your IROC Z when you were a kid?
No, it's the new supplement.
That was nitrous.
It's close.
It's a new supplement from our friends over at Swiss RX.
What are you talking about? You're getting exclusive stuff from the guys over at the feed and Swiss RX?
I get the pre-look. I get the stuff about a day or 2 earlier than you, just to try out.
Oh my God! So and you really feel a difference?
You got to try it. It's good.
Seriously?
Yep.
How would I have done like if we did a couple of on-twos? You think I would feel it?
Well, I think the fact that we're doing Independence Pass today is it can be a perfect tryout for you.
I should pack it on.
Yep.
The nitric oxide.
You might not even feel it, too. We'll hit the mountain, and you might be just flying.
Guess
up.
what?
I'm a little worried about it.
Guess what? My friends at the feed?
Oh no.
You see this? Huh? Hot sauce for Lance. That is not the brand name, but let me just open this up, right? Well, I know in the past we've talked a ton about ketones on this show, and I haven't really mentioned it yes.
Whoa.
You keep doing your ooh.
You better hide those.
And you know what makes it even better? This shit's called Delta G.
All right, I'm
that's
trying
right.
that today.
You always G this, G that. Delta G. Okay, so thank
G
you.
needs a Delta G.
Thank you to my friends at the feed for sneaking me some stuff too. So today I'm gonna have. Everybody knows, it's this body's no stranger, but I'm gonna be loading up on nitric oxide and Delta G.
All right. That's going to be a fast ride up.
Kick your ass.
So it gets even better. For our listeners that want to go faster, head over to swissrx.com/themove and get 50% off your order.
Flow code right there. swissrx.com/themove.
Half price for our listeners.
Last one of the day. And I realized this when we started the show, and I'm glad I brought my Roka aviators. I normally wear the silver ones, but I was rocking sort of a bluish outfit today, so I brought the blue titanium aviators. And as we sat down, I don't know what you have on your wrist. I literally could not see. That is the blingiest. Show the people.
Oh.
What is, I mean, this is.
Thank you for pointing that out. It's a little bit of an old school one, but I love it.
This could account for the fact that you can now do 7 pull-ups versus 2. If you have to walk around with that thing on.
It's heavy, too.
It looks heavy, and I couldn't see. I literally was getting blinded by the bling.
Blue is a really good color for
I
you.
mean, little baby got nothing on you, man.
You know, you wake up in blue mood every day. Like today, we're talking about Tiffany, our good friend Tiffany and I are all excited about our breakfast options for today. Crepes. And Lance goes, I don't want crepes. I'm hungry, but I don't want crepes. Who wants crepes? Comes down 10 minutes like, man, these are some good-ass crepes.
I didn't realize. I was thinking I didn't want anything sweet. And Shirley, who's been cooking for us during the tour, but, you know, I thought it was going to be like sweet. And I wanted something, breakfast. I've got to do the pass. I wanted something with some sustenance. And I went up, and Luke had already gotten sweet and savory. I said, oh.
With some ham
So
and cheese.
I changed my mind. I went ham and cheese first, and then Nutella banana on the back end. So, you know, I can change. I've shown a lot of people that I can change. But anyhow, today's show also brought to you by Roka. I'm sorry, guys. I got distracted with the bling and with the crepes. They make the best shades, bottom line. I mean, the cycling shades, the prescription glasses, the aviators, everything they make is high quality. It's the best. So head on over to roka.com. And that's ROKA for our listeners, 20% off. That's Roka, ROKA.com. And if you leave that watch on, I'm going to have to keep the glasses on. I'm surprised your the transition things aren't lighting up based on the watch.
Oh, I know, right? Right. Yeah, that's called. I have gotten some emails. That's called transition. When you get out into the UV rays, they,
you know what?
they darken up.
It's a great watch for the grass courts in the Hamptons, actually.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I think we need to go back.
Why would you? Do you really want to open that back up? I will
No.
destroy you. Oh,
No, but you don't want to miss it.
hang on. We have a slide. Is this our good friend Joe Natoli?
That is awesome.
Wow, thanks for the lesson today. Hey, you want to meet in the Hamptons for some grass games?
I'd love to.
Dude, so Mosca. He says, sure, I guess. Don't tell Lance, though. He wouldn't understand. Hey, who does your hair?
Look at that. There's even a we do on the strings on the racket.
Oh,
Some old school Oakley's on, but I've heard a rumor that McEnroe's an actual cyclist or likes to
Really?
bike, so I'd love to know if that's true because I'd love to go for a ride with him.
Oh, no.
Yes.
This is
too good.
This is too good. Joe, is this?
No, this is a
not
new
Joe-
entry.
We have Joe's got competition.
Brendan Kennedy sent this one in.
Brendan, so for those listening, you've got George standing, of course, on a grass tennis court. He's got all his weird.
Where's my bling watch,
He's got
though?
a tennis bag that holds like 28 rackets. He says "See in the douches," and overhead over the classic Hamptons house, he's got the Jizzy
With his own logo
with
on
the
it.
Hincapie logo.
Oh, that's too good. I'll have
God,
to put that one up later.
you were such a Jizzy snob. Is that good enough? That one right there, is that big enough? It looks like a.
That would work just fine for
It
me.
looks like a. It's It actually might be a rendering, but would that work for you?
Yeah,
you
that'd
know,
be totally
8
fine.
windows, some wingtips.
Absolutely.
You know. George is standing on the runway with his thumb out. That's the next slide, Joe Natoli's. George, like all the jets passing by, and George is like hitchhiking on the tarmac.
That's usually how it works for me. Whenever I'm on a Jizzy, I'm hitchhiking.
Runway 33. Call the police. There's a gentleman on runway 33 with his thumb out.
Can I go back to the race now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I really want to know what Johan thinks about this. I actually thought it was super, I don't know about questionable, but strange that Pogaćar would go all in on the chase with Uran and Karabat. There was absolutely no reason for him to chase down Vingegaard, even though it was a great move for him. He unfortunately didn't gain any time, but it was a great move for his head, for his confidence, for the team's confidence. But I was questioning why would Pogaćar help those guys? He had no reason to. I mean, he's more than 5 minutes behind.
And then sprint all out
And
for
then
4th or 5th place. With
Sprint
no time.
all out.
Yeah.
And then you saw at the finish, Vingegaard, I'm still saying it wrong. We got to ask Ryan again, but he actually went up to Pogaćar, and I feel like he was like, what was it? What was that about? Why would you chase me down? This isn't really your race now. We're going for second here.
Yeah, with Pogaćar with 5 minutes on everybody, shouldn't he just be managing these situations? He's burning matches.
I know you would have sat on the wheel going down that mountain. There's no reason to pull. Just save your energy.
I actually probably would have, unless it was like Jalabert or something. Then I would have been pulling. You never know what personal. You never know what personal stuff is going on.
That's a great point. It could have been some other stuff going on.
These
But it was
guys are the
strange that he
same
was
age.
pulling.
They've been racing together for not just this tour, but probably for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, there may be some shade there. We should get that scoop.
We should.
I think Pogaćar is calm and cool. I do not think he was. I don't think that's a crack. I don't think we're seeing anything there. I think he. If I had to guess, he knows that he's a better descender. No reason to go over try to follow. But
on the climb.
That's what I'm saying.
Would
you don't
have
have to
you,
agree
would
with
you
me.
ever done that? If you were feeling good, would you let somebody pop you on TV?
No, but that's but no,
Exactly.
but
That would have never happened.
There was only there can only be one of the biggest assholes of all time. That's me. So
The only time-
You bring up a
that
good
doesn't
point.
count. That doesn't count.
You bring up something very good, George, that maybe you can elaborate on. It's there has to be this ego check a lot when you're racing for GC, and just monitor yourself, and maybe that's where the director in your head helps, right?
Yeah.
Just not burning a match when you don't need to.
Yeah. I mean,
Just purely ego.
We'll see. I mean, we won't see tomorrow, but we'll see. One thing is without a doubt is he has used up a lot of his credits, and we've commented on this on the other days. But he has he's spent some energy, so that I don't care who you are, it adds up.
Well, especially midway through Tour de France, you kind of start to want to make some alliances where you don't have to necessarily chase somebody down. Why would you? Throw the dude a bone and be like, all right, I'm going to sit on this wheel in case I need you in the future.
Vingegaard.
Tomorrow, do we get to see the Cavendish show, or is he so spent from today that it's going to have to wait?
He looked tuckered out at the finish, man. He was beat down, which he should be. I mean, by the way, if he's ahead of Luke Rowe and Søren Kragh Andersen, and I mean, that's not those are real bike riders, but he looked tired. Tomorrow's not a sprint. Tomorrow is a day for the break.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. It's going to be really hard for a team like Quick-Step after doing so much work to be able to control it for a breakaway. If I was them, I'd send one or two of my good guys that can make a breakaway and perhaps be there in the finish, so that way they have all bases covered. But yeah, you're right. Tomorrow's got a good chance for
They
breakaway
got
to make it.
They know this record is within reach. I'm projecting he breaks the record in Paris on the Champs-Élysées. I think that would be incredible. This day is lumpy. I don't know if we have a slide of it, but it is hard to control. They're just like, let it go. There'll be 3 more days after this one that he can win.
Not only is it lumpy, but we're heading down into Nîmes, which we all know can get super windy. So I mean, there could be some sort of potential crosswind battles, which will throw a whole nother level to the difficulty of the stage. So who knows? It really depends on which way the wind is blowing tomorrow. Forecast
Isn't for wind, but you never know. I mean, this place, it can blow there. Oh, there we go. So we see the stage. It's, that may not look like a lot compared to today, but that day is never flat, and probably small, twisty roads.
160K, super. It's going to be a short, super fast stage.
They'll be going before kilometer 0.
Yep.
I mean, they will. They'll take a running start at kilometer 0.
I think you said earlier, George, or maybe it was when we were watching, we're going to see the same suspects and breakaways going forward.
Usually after halfway of the tour, I mean, there's guys that are getting better throughout the tour, and the guys that are just going straight downhill that perhaps may have started too strong. You'll start seeing the same guys in the breakaway, the Alaphilippes, the Michael Woods, a lot of the guys that were in that early mood today with Mollema, and you'll see a lot of the same faces moving forward in the breakaways. But a lot of these guys from today's stage will obviously wait for the big mountain days to get in the breakaways. They might not mess with stages like tomorrow.
When does the break normally go? Goes in the first hour? I'm going to show you something, right? It goes in the first hour.
Yep.
Look at the first hour. You think that's going to be strung out?
Schnick schnocks everywhere.
Look at that road.
Yeah.
That is the first hour. I mean, it looks like you're in the mountains. I mean, it's never straight.
It looks like someone's on a. If you were looking at that on a Strava file, you'd say, "Oh, they're on a mountain bike on a
Right.
trail."
Exactly.
By the way, the route, there's no mountains there, but those little bumps are ideal scenarios for breakaways because the peloton hits them full gas. They're sprinting over these 1-2K climbs at like 1,000 watts, and this is how the breakaways go.
Yeah. And now we're up to 6 teams that have won stages. So there's still 17 teams.
Yeah.
Time running out. Breakaway opportunity.
Pressure.
I mean, these directors are going to be like, you better get your fucking ass in this breakaway.
Yeah.
Like you have, and if the teams are not in the break, then they have to chase. Like they will be. You'll see it.
Yeah. Moving forward, the team meetings now are like, if you're not in the breakaway, there's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah.
For a lot of these teams.
Right. No excuse.
You bring up something interesting because in a lot of major league sports and we like college sports too. It's like you don't make the playoffs, coach is gone.
Right.
Are directors in that kind of pressure sometimes?
No.
You need a tour stage win or you're done.
No, because these directors, a lot of them own the teams, run the teams. They're the one who deal with the sponsors, get the sponsors. No, they don't. I mean, Mark Matteo would have fired himself a long time ago.
Ouch.
Some questions and comments?
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm not taking that back.
Let's see. This is from Frank. It says, my 4-day-old newborn has been in the cardiac ICU. The tour and your show have been a great distraction.
Damn.
Love the funny banner between Lance and George. Thank you. That is from Frank.
Wow. Well, Frank hanging. That's that. Yeah. There's no. I wouldn't be watching this show. I'd be hospitalized myself. That's just we're thinking of you.
We're thinking about you, Frank.
Yeah,
my
100%.
middle son was actually in the emergency room as well. 10 days after he was born, I was at the Tour de France, so I understand how hard it is. But here's for you. We're pulling for you.
Damn. I didn't know that.
He was little Enzo.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's scary.
Jeez.
More comments.
One of your best friends. You never told me that.
No, I guess not, but it was a tough one, that for sure.
God. And you stayed?
Yeah, I wanted to go home, but my wife wouldn't let me go home. So yeah, it was really tough.
She said, "Do your life.
Do your life. You have to
One
finish.
time, I was getting in an argument with George's wife when we first met, and she's just learning English, and she was trying to tell me, something like, whatever, or leave me alone, or F off, or whatever. And she goes, and she was like, just beat red, and she goes, "Do your life." I was like, okay, I plan on it.
Lance rocking the Hamptons improvisations is priceless. That should be coming up again soon. What's the B under the HC on a stage profile?
Time bonus. Yeah, so they've started putting these time bonuses in strategic places. I like it. I think it's a good idea. I think they should always have time bonuses at the finish. But to sneak them in the race, I mean, obviously it's not going to matter for the GC normally, but that's what that little yellow B means.
Okay. I was listening to JB Squared, and Johan mentioned something I hear repeated a lot. The Tour is the hardest, then the Giro, and finally the Vuelta. Is it the competition or the terrain? What makes it play out like that?
No, they all have.
That's from Tobin.
I want George to chime in, but they all have hard terrain. They all have mountains. They all have time trials. They all have wind. They all have crashes. They all have the 200 guys. They're all 3 weeks, but it's just the Tour is a Super Bowl. The intensity, and he's right. I mean, the Giro is probably half of the Tour, and the Vuelta is probably half the Giro.
Wow.
Well, if I can chime in, arguably the Giro and the Vuelta could be perhaps more challenging. The climbs are steeper, they're longer, they're harder. But typically in the races like the Giro and the Vuelta, the Spanish teams or the Italian teams will send their A squad. And the rest of the teams send some of their best guys, but most of their guys are fillers for the stage race. Where the Tour, typically every team sends their A team, the best guys they have on their squad, which makes for some really tough, aggressive racing.
So for most of you guys, a lot of you guys that are doing the Vuelta, just to forget that George called you a filler. He's like, wait, there's somebody listening. There's some pro listening that's going to the Vuelta.
I didn't mean it that way.
And he is saying,
you guys know what I meant.
Wait a minute.
They would most likely prefer to be doing the Tour de France. Unless they're veteran riders that have been there, done that, they have different goals. Most of the guys would most likely be doing the Tour.
I just don't want to be a filler my whole life.
Here's another one. Italy is one of the great cycling nations in the world, and it hosts some of the greatest and most historic cycling races on the calendar. How do you guys explain the fact that there are no Italian Pro Tour teams in the Tour, and only 9 Italian riders took the start this year?
Wow.
That's from Tom.
I mean, I know we were bummed that there's only 4 Americans, but a country like Italy with its rich history to only have 9 on the start line, well, yeah, that's a disappointment. But it's cyclical. I mean, it
is. And a lot of these teams, even though they're not Italian teams, they're run by Italians, so they're essentially Italian teams.
Speaking of Italians, I just want to brag for a second. I know George gets a lot of messages and DMs from people. George, just so you know, I've been actually up till this morning, I've been DMing with Chippo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
are you going to get him to come to my event or what?
We're working on some other stuff. Somebody asked me to reach out to him, but I'm working on bringing Chippo to your event. But to have the Lion King and I just sort of DMing this morning,
that's big.
Felt pretty special.
In Italian or English?
I wrote it. I've sent him messages in the past in Italian with like Google Translate, but I sent it in English. He wrote me back in English.
Oh, nice.
Jim writes, I was wondering how long it takes to recover physically and mentally from the Tour de France. I would think your body would be so traumatized from 3 weeks of racing, it would take a long time to get back to normal.
So it really depends on what you have coming up next. If you finish the Tour de France and you don't have a race for a month, you're going to be completely exhausted for the next 2 to 3 weeks. But a lot of the guys have races the next weekend. A lot of these guys are going straight to the Olympics. So your body kind of bounces back and it knows that it's got to get back to work, and it really usually performs well for you after the Tour. You can dig deeper than you've ever dug before.
Yeah, I think everybody's different. And it just, it depends what happens during those 3 weeks.
Yep.
And one more from M. Crease in Afghanistan. Is Lance still rocking?
What's the increase?
M. Just the first initial M.
No, but imagine if the first name started with an N and their initials you were increase. That'd be pretty cool. And you're from Afghanistan,
right?
Wait, somebody's writing us from Afghanistan.
From Afghanistan.
That's awesome.
That's sick.
Is Lance still rocking the fanny pack? That's what they want to know.
Occasionally, I was wearing it the other day. It's not a permanent fixture like it has been in the past. I'm just carrying less stuff. I'm making a bit of a comeback. I'm like Jizzy George here. People buy me stuff now, so I don't always have to carry a wallet. It's like, George, when is the last time you carried a wallet?
Wow. I try to carry a wallet everywhere I go. But that was good.
No, I look, bottom line, the fanny pack is super convenient. So occasionally, but like I said, not as much as last year.
Okay. All right.
Now he just carries around the black card. That's it. Doesn't need a fanny pack.
You know what? Like Apple Pay, we're moving away from wallets. Totally.
Yep.
It was interesting with COVID. I would always sort of I was doing these like informal studies. Like I would go to whether you're getting gas or just any counter, and I would say, hey, what percentage of people pay cash versus credit card? Because in the past it's maybe 50-50. I mean, there was nobody touching cash.
Yeah.
I mean, just slide that. They were like sliding the card in, like, oh shit, get it out, not touching a thing. So, but COVID accelerated that too. And then, with Apple Pay, with the Watt, all of this stuff.
That's crazy. If you would like to write to us, comments or questions for the next show, themove@wedo.team.
And happy hour.
Yeah, happy hour tomorrow night.
Yes, that's it for the members. It's within the member season pass.
That's right.
That's at wedo.team. And the last one got heated. I got to go easier on George.
It did.
Yeah. Well, all he's got to do is read that ad about shaving his balls, and then we'll stop.
And that's, by the way, that's even if you missed it.
Just you saying that makes me like sweat a little bit, like get a little sweaty.
If you missed the first happy hour, which was last Thursday, it was priceless, and that still lives in there if you want to go watch that. And it's only $60 for the year, and you get
that's
a lot for that.
That's the spiciest content we have. And also access to this show.
No filter.
Zero
yeah,
filter.
we encourage questions, not even non-cycling related questions.
Yeah, nothing's off limits.
You want to ask.
In fact, most of the questions are more personal, less cycling, which is great. And members, if you're watching, they're watching, as this gets recorded. One of the benefits they get,
right?
Send in those questions for the next happy hour.
Yeah, and the pull-up contest before the happy hour.
Oh God.
Head on over to wedo.team and sign up for your season pass. Check it out. Get the fully unfiltered, and you don't have to wait. I think that's we oftentimes don't talk about that. Like, our members are watching the show live. Like, they're not waiting for it to be edited and uploaded, and that takes a little bit of time.
They do the same thing we do. Race ends, jump right into the commentary.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Exciting day, and we'll see you all tomorrow.